Welcome to District Command Central, your go-to source for the latest news and updates on the Washington Commanders. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss a play. When Washington Commanders fans woke up this week, they probably didn't expect to feel hope again, not after the way this season has unfolded so far. The team sits at 3-4, barely clinging to relevance in the NFC playoff picture, and with a Monday Night Football matchup looming against the high-flying Kansas City Chiefs, optimism was running on fumes. But then came a piece of news that changed the entire mood around the franchise. Head coach Dan Quinn stepped to the podium and delivered something fans hadn't heard in what felt like forever. Terry McLaurin and Deebo Samuel Sr. are back at practice. For a fan base that's been battered by injuries, inconsistency, and heartache, this was nothing short of a thunderbolt of good news. Now, of course, Washington supporters have every reason to be cautious. They've heard this story before, particularly with McLaurin. Every time there's a whisper that he might return, the excitement builds, only to crumble when the team rules him out again at the last minute. 4 straight games on the sidelines have turned optimism into skepticism. Still, this time feels different. When Thursday's practice began, both McLaurin and Samuel were fully dressed, helmets on, pads strapped, running drills with teammates like they hadn't missed a beat. For the first time in weeks, it felt like the Commanders might be ready to field their full arsenal of offensive firepower. McLaurin's situation has been complicated from the start. His offseason was overshadowed by a tense contract standoff that cost him precious reps during training camp. When he finally did hit the field earlier in the season, his rhythm was off. He played just 3 games before the injury bug bit him hard, forcing him to the shelf. The timing couldn't have been worse for Washington, which desperately needed its leader on offense to stabilize a young and evolving team. But after weeks of rehab and frustration, McLaurin's participation this week is the clearest sign yet that he's on his way back. Every route he ran during drills drew cheers from the sidelines. Every sharp cut and explosive burst sent a ripple of excitement through the facility. This isn't a player easing his way in. It's a star itching to remind the league who he is. Deebo Samuel's return, meanwhile, carries its own weight. He missed just 1 game, but his absence was glaring in the Commanders' humiliating loss to the Dallas Cowboys. Without his versatility and physicality, the offense looked predictable and flat. Washington lacked that spark, that unpredictable element that forces defenses to stay honest. Deebo's heel issue had been nagging him for weeks, and the decision to sit him against Dallas was more precautionary than anything else. The extended rest seems to have paid off. During practice, he moved with confidence, showing none of the hesitation that marked his pre-injury form. If he continues trending upward, Samuel's return could transform Washington's offense from sluggish to dangerous in a matter of days. It's hard to overstate what this means for Marcus Mariota, who'll be under center against the Chiefs. Mariota is a veteran who knows how to manage a game, but let's be honest, he's not Jayden Daniels. He doesn't bring that electric, improvisational flair that can mask flaws elsewhere on the field. What Mariota does bring, however, is experience and poise, especially when surrounded by capable weapons. And that's where McLaurin and Samuel come in. Their ability to stretch defenses vertically and make plays after the catch is exactly what Mariota needs to thrive. When those two are healthy and engaged, Washington's playbook opens up in ways it simply can't when they're sidelined. Suddenly, play action becomes a threat again. Suddenly, defenses can't stack the box against the run. Suddenly, there's balance. Still, even the most optimistic Commanders fans know one harsh truth. The offense can't win this game alone. If Washington wants to take down Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs on prime time, Joe Witt Jr.'s defense has to show up in a way it hasn't all year. Kansas City just got wide receiver Rashee Rice back from suspension, and Mahomes wasted no time getting him involved. The Chiefs' offense is once again humming, with Travis Kelce dominating the middle of the field and rookie back Isaiah Pacheco pounding the rock like a man possessed. Washington's defense, which has been wildly inconsistent, must find a way to disrupt Mahomes' rhythm, something few teams in the league have managed. The return of McLaurin and Samuel might not fix that side of the ball, but it gives the Commanders something they've lacked lately: margin for error. And make no mistake, the locker room feels that boost. When your best players are finally back on the field, it changes everything. The energy, the focus, even the body language. Teammates feed off it. Coaches feel it. Suddenly, practice isn't just going through the motions. It's preparation with purpose. Quinn knows it, too. He's been cautious, emphasizing that neither McLaurin nor Samuel will be rushed back until they're 100% ready. He's seen what happens when players try to push through too soon. Setbacks, frustrations, and the cycle of disappointment starts all over again. But as of now, everything points in the right direction. There's genuine belief that both stars could suit up on Monday night, under the bright lights, against the reigning champions. And if they do, it could completely reshape how this game, and maybe this season, plays out. The Commanders have been a team in search of identity since week 1. They've shown flashes of brilliance followed by stretches of confusion. The offense sputtered without its key playmakers, the defense cracked under pressure, and special teams have been hit or miss. Fans were starting to check out, to resign themselves to another rebuilding year narrative that's become far too familiar in Washington. But this news, this spark of hope, changes the tone entirely. For the first time in weeks, there's a reason to believe again. You can feel it in the city, in the online fan groups, in the local sports talk chatter. If McLaurin and Debo are back, one fan posted on X, then I'm back too. That sentiment captures the mood perfectly. Of course, optimism only goes so far. The Chiefs aren't the kind of opponent you can sneak up on. They're seasoned, ruthless, and built for the spotlight. For Washington to stand a chance, everything needs to click. Execution, discipline, play calling, the whole package. But the thing about football, the reason fans keep showing up even when logic says not to, is that momentum can change everything. Sometimes it's one big play, one emotional return, one spark that flips the script. And if McLaurin or Samuel can deliver that moment on Monday night, a deep touchdown, a game-breaking run, a sideline catch that sends the stadium into a frenzy, then suddenly, what looked like a lost season could start to feel like something else entirely. There's also a human side to this story. McLaurin and Samuel have been grinding behind the scenes for weeks, enduring long hours of rehab, treatment, and mental preparation. Injuries don't just test the body, they test the spirit. Watching your teammates fight every week while you're stuck on the sidelines can eat away at even the toughest competitors. So when they stepped back onto the field this week, it wasn't just about football, it was about redemption. It was about reclaiming their role as leaders, as game changers, as the emotional backbone of the Commanders' offense. You could see it in their eyes, that mix of relief and determination. They're not coming back just to participate, they're coming back to make a statement. Dan Quinn, for his part, has handled the situation masterfully. He's been transparent without overpromising, patient without being passive. His message to the team has been clear, no excuses. The Commanders can't rely on injury reports or bad luck to define their season. They need to control what they can control: effort, preparation, and execution. The return of McLaurin and Samuel gives them tools, not guarantees. What they do with those tools will determine how the rest of the season unfolds. Still, Quinn knows how big this moment is. You can sense it in the way he talks about practice intensity, about focus, about the vibe around the locker room. This isn't just another game. It's a chance to rewrite the narrative. And that's what makes this story so compelling. In a league where fortunes can shift in a heartbeat, the Commanders suddenly find themselves standing at a crossroads. On one side lies the familiar path, more frustration, more what-ifs, another season wasted. On the other side lies possibility. A Monday night upset against Mahomes would shake up the entire league. It would put Washington back on the map, remind everyone that they're not just a rebuilding project. They're a team with grit, talent, and potential. And it all starts with two players strapping on their helmets and getting back to work. So as kickoff approaches, all eyes will be on McLaurin and Samuel. Can they stay healthy? Can they find that chemistry with Mariota in time to make a difference? Can they inject life into an offense that's been gasping for it? Those are the questions hanging in the air. But for now, for this brief and hopeful stretch before the lights come on in Kansas City, Commanders fans can dream again. They can imagine the roar of the crowd as McLaurin streaks down the sideline, the crackle of excitement as Debo breaks a tackle and charges into the end zone. They can picture, just maybe, the night when everything finally clicks. Because for the first time in a long time, Washington stars are back, and so is the belief. If you're enjoying the coverage, Make sure to smash that like button and drop a comment with your thoughts on the Commanders' latest moves. We want to hear from you. It's official, folks. Chase Young is coming home to Washington, and the entire Commanders fan base is absolutely losing it. You can feel the electricity in the air, like a spark running through FedEx Field before a storm. After months of speculation, rumors, and half-baked insider whispers, the move that nobody thought would actually happen has finally gone down. Chase Young, the once golden boy of the franchise, the defensive rookie of the year who brought energy, swagger, and that relentless motor, is back where it all started. The Commanders have pulled the trigger, and Washington just got a jolt of adrenaline that fans haven't felt in a long, long time. It's not just a transaction. It feels like redemption, like the rekindling of a flame that never truly went out. You've got to remember where this all began. Chase Young wasn't just another draft pick. When Washington selected him second overall back in 2020, he was supposed to be the cornerstone of a defensive revolution, the kind of generational talent who could change the culture of an entire locker room. And for a while, it really looked like he would. His rookie season was electric. He was chasing down quarterbacks, forcing fumbles, hyping up his teammates, and giving the franchise something to believe in again. He had that it factor, the confidence, the energy, the leadership, and the game to back it up. He was supposed to be the face of the future. But then came the injuries, the inconsistency, and the tension behind the scenes that slowly started to erode that dream. When the Commanders decided to trade him to the 49ers, it felt like a breakup. It was one of those messy splits where both sides try to act like they've moved on, but deep down, you can tell there's unfinished business. Washington wanted to rebuild, to reset the locker room dynamic, and Chase wanted a fresh start, to prove himself, to show he could still be the monster off the edge that everyone feared. And you know what? For a while, it worked. He got to line up opposite Nick Bosa. He made plays, he flashed the old explosiveness, and he reminded everyone of the freakish athleticism that made him a top pick in the first place. But as time went on, it became clear that something was missing. The fire, the passion, the connection. It was like Chase was doing everything right on paper, but the heart wasn't fully in it. Maybe that's because deep down, he still saw himself in burgundy and gold. And now here we are, full circle. The Commanders, under new ownership, a new front office, and a new coaching philosophy, decided it was time to make a statement. They've been rebuilding the foundation, cleaning up the mess of past years, and trying to create an identity that fans can rally behind again. And what better way to do that than by bringing back one of the most electrifying players in recent franchise history? This move isn't just about sacks or defensive schemes. It's about symbolism. It's about telling the fans, hey, we remember the energy, we remember the excitement, and we want to bring that back. It's about rewriting a story that ended too soon. Chase Young's return is a signal, a loud, emotional signal, that Washington is ready to believe again. The reaction online has been insane. The moment the news dropped, Commanders' Twitter went nuclear. Memes, edits, old highlight clips. The timeline turned into a digital parade. Fans who had sworn off the team after years of disappointment suddenly found themselves smiling again. Even the players seem hyped. Reports say several current Commanders immediately reached out to Chase after the news broke, welcoming him back and talking about unfinished business. You can feel that this isn't just another roster move. It's personal. It's emotional. It's a reunion that means something to the locker room and the fan base alike. You can tell from the way people are talking. There's a genuine belief that Chase's return could light a spark that changes everything. Of course, the skeptics are out there too. There are those who remember how things ended. The injuries, the inconsistency, the whispers about effort and commitment. They'll say it's a gamble, that Washington is betting on nostalgia more than production. But here's the thing. Every comeback story needs a little bit of risk. Every redemption arc starts with a leap of faith. And right now, the Commanders are showing that faith in Chase Young. They believe he's grown, matured, learned from his journey. They're betting that this version of Chase, older, humbler, hungrier, is ready to finish what he started. And honestly, that might be exactly what he needs too. Because sometimes, to become who you're meant to be, you have to go away, fall a little, get humbled, and then come back home stronger than before. Let's not forget how different this team is from the one he left. New ownership has changed everything. There's a sense of direction now, a plan, a culture that's being built brick by brick. The energy around the Commanders isn't toxic anymore, it's hopeful. They've been making smart moves, building through the draft, investing in the trenches, and shaping a roster that finally feels competitive. Bringing Chase back fits into that narrative perfectly. He knows the city, he knows the fans, and he knows what it means to wear that jersey. If he can channel all that passion into his play, the Commanders might just have found the emotional leader their defense has been missing. The defensive line, once the pride of Washington, has a chance to be dominant again. Imagine Chase Young lining up next to Jonathan Allen and Darren Payne, wreaking havoc like it's 2020 all over again. That front could be terrifying. The talent is there, the chemistry is already written into the DNA of the roster, and now the motivation has come roaring back. You can't underestimate how powerful that kind of emotional momentum can be. Football isn't just about X's and O's. It's about heart, identity, and playing for something bigger than yourself. And right now, it feels like Chase is coming back with something to prove, not just to the league, but to himself, to the fans, to the entire Washington community. And the fans? Man, they've been starving for something like this. It's been years since the city truly had a player that embodied their spirit, gritty, passionate, unrelenting. Chase Young was that guy once, and now he's got the chance to be that guy again. When he walks back onto that field, you know the crowd is going to erupt. Every tackle, every sack, every roar from the stands will carry the weight of unfinished business. It's like a movie script, the kind of storyline that sports fans dream about. The prodigal son returns, ready to restore the pride of a franchise that's been searching for its soul. Of course, the question now is, what's next? What version of Chase Young are we going to see? Will it be the dominant, fearless pass rusher who took the league by storm as a rookie, or the injury-plagued, inconsistent version that left people wondering what went wrong? That's the tension that makes this story so compelling. It's not guaranteed. It's not safe. But it's real. It's human. And that's what makes it so fascinating to watch unfold. There's something beautiful about second chances, especially in sports. When talent meets redemption, magic tends to happen. So, buckle up, Commanders fans. This isn't just a headline. It's a turning point. The kind of moment that could redefine how we look at this franchise for years to come. Chase Young's return isn't about going back to the past. It's about building a new future rooted in everything that once made Washington special. The hunger, the pride, the fight, it's all coming back. The city's ready. The fans are ready. And if Chase Young is ready too, then the rest of the league better watch out, because the Commanders might just be about to shock everyone. The fire that once burned in DC has been reignited. The stage is set. The prodigy has returned home, and the story is still being written. One thing's for sure, the Commanders' defense just got its heart back. And somewhere deep down, you can almost hear that familiar roar echoing through the city. Chase is back. Thanks for tuning into District Command Central. Make sure to subscribe and follow us for all the Commanders news you need. Until next time, keep the faith and hail to the Commanders.